Welcome back to FacetNet. In my previous video, you would have noticed I installed this Ubuntu 20.04. So for example, if you're a very beginner to Linux-based operating system, keep in mind Linux servers doesn't have GUI by default. You can install a GUI and you can use it, but the purpose of Linux-based operating systems, especially when it comes to Linux servers, they wanted to build the operating system without the GUI so that it will not use much of resources from your host machines. But being a beginner, it's always a big challenge. So there's a very handy tool that you can install and use this tool to manage your Linux-based operating system, especially when it comes to Unix configurations files where you do a lot of manual changes. The tool is called Webmin, right? So this is the tool, it's called Webmin. So you can go to this URL and you can find this tool, and then of course you can download and install this tool. The whole purpose of Webmin is a web-based interface, right? So this interface is especially for system administrators for Unix. So this Webmin is using a modern web browser based management interface. So you can use this management interface to set up user accounts. You can use this to configure DNS, and of course you can use this for file sharing and etc, etc. So it's a very handy tool that to use it. So right now they have got a new release which is Webmin 1.994, which was released on the 22nd of May 2022. So what I'm going to do in this video, I'm going to install this Webmin tool so that I can configure or I can manage this Linux machine, Linux-based operating system machines remotely, right? So the whole purpose of this one is to make sure that I am going to install and manage it. So let's start the configuration, or let's start the installation. To install the Webmin, we need to do some of the prerequisites installation, and also we have to download the keys so that we can use those keys to download the repositories, and then we can use it to install the operating system. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly check whether the system has got all the updates. So let's do a configuration, right? Copy the commands. Let me just make sure that we have got the right command. Hit update and ask the password. Right. So the system has got a bit of an update. So let's complete the update. So while it does the update, I'm going to do the copy the next command, and I'm going to come back and update it. Right. So this command that I'm going to use is to make sure that I can confirm and I can make sure that all the tools are ready to install the Webmins, right? Right. Hit enter to OK. So let me move the command installation package, which services should be restarted. So select. Looks like my system is hanged. Right. It's now restarting. Right. Cool. So next I'm going to run the second command. What I'll do, I'll make sure I'll copy these commands in my description, so you can just copy and paste these commands to install. Right, so I've just done the system upgrade. Now I'm going to download and install the GPG key so that it can be downloaded, or it can use to download the Alright, so now the next thing what I'm going to do is I'm going to download the GPG key. This is to trust the package, right? So are we going to add the repositories, and then we're going to install the Webmin. So we need to first of all trust this package. So to do that, I'm going to download and update the GPG keys. So the command here is I'm going to download it from the website Webmin, and I'm going to make sure I'm going to run this package. So do that. There you go. My GPG public key is now downloaded, right? So that tells us that I've got the confidence that I am downloading the right software. Right. Now, need to make sure I need to download the packages to install the Webmin. So I'm going to update my repository. So if you don't update the repositories, by default your Ubuntu will check on default repositories, and if you don't find the package, then you can't install it. So I'm going to just make sure to upload because it's in the GitHub, right? So I'm going to upload. I'm going to update my repositories. So repository updating, and then done. So adding repository, continue, done. You can see it's updating the repositories. Right, once it's done, let's do a quick update, the system update, to make sure the new repository will make sure to go and check whether every updates are there. Cool. Right, update is now done, and I'm going to install the Webmin. So let's start the Webmin installation. Hit enter. Yes, and you can see it's 305 MB package, because this is the web interface that I'm going to use to manage the Linux or the Ubuntu servers. Right, once it installed, all you have to do is just make sure you check whether the service is running. Right, and then we should be able to simply go and access the service. So still going on. Right, the installation is done. Let's all right, let's run the command to see the status. Right, so I'm gonna it's the previous command is still running. Let's wait here for a second. Right. So wait here, and also we need to make sure we should allow the firewalls, right? So if you see, it will give you the URL that you can go and access the services. By default, this runs on port number 1000. So if you have a web interface, let me take one of the web interface. Right, this is my web interface. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go type in the IP address of the server. Alright, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to web browser and I'm going to type the IP address of this page. Alright, so the IP address, as I said, your computer IP address, and the port number is 10,000. Sorry, I said earlier 1000. Sorry, that's wrong. It should be 10,000. So you can see here it's 10,000, right? So I typed in advanced, proceed. There you go, Webmin. Type in the username and the password. Right, so now the Webmin interface is ready. So this is your web interface that you can use to manage your server. So it's a very handy tool and it's very helpful for you to manage and work with Linux operating system. So you can see it gives you the details about it, right? The name of the server, operating system, and as I said, the version of your Webmin, right? So those informations are here, right? So if you click in here, this gives you more details about these services, right? So networking, it talks about TCP firewalls, it gives you the firewall information, RAID, especially hard disk and all, cluster configurations, right? Here we go, all the additional services, right, that you wanted to manage, right? IPsec, iSCSI, bind, disquartas, DHCPs, Apache, right? You can see you have almost every single service that you want to install and manage on this one is available here, right? So for example, if you click on, hold on. So for example, if you click on one of the services, so for example, let's go to, we'll pick one of the one, it's easier, DHCP. Maybe let's pick the DHCP. So if you click on DHCP, see, you can install the DHCP and then you can go and manage it. So it's a very handy tool. If you haven't used it, I highly recommend you to install and start using this tool. So it's a, I hope this helped you so much. This will help you to manage your Linux based operating system, and make sure to subscribe to my channel and I'll keep on posting some interesting more videos.